Christ, it's a bizarre look. Welcome back to another training vlog. So you're probably thinking, Dara, that looks like it's very dark outside. I wonder, are you up early in the morning? Well, no, I'm not. It's Monday. It's Monday night. It's 22:57 at the moment. And due to some idiotic shit talk in a group chat at the weekend, I'm now going to run a half marathon, or attempt to run it. My plan for this is to run as slowly as possible. Hopefully I'll be done at 1 a.m. because I've training in the morning at 7 a.m. So yeah, expect to see an incredibly tired Dara Fitz here in about 2 hours time. Pacing is non-existent for this. Plan is currently non-existent. I have 4 chocolates in my pocket. I haven't eaten dinner. I was babysitting my sister's kids, so that's why it's 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. and yeah, just another terrible idea in Dara's land. So the rig out here is pretty simple. In my left pocket I have a spare head torch because I've been using that other head torch for about 3 years and I have no idea when the batteries are going to go. I know I've changed the batteries once in them, but who knows when that head torch is going to give up the ghost. I have my watch, which won't be in the pocket for very long. In preparation for this, I've taken 2 servings of Pico 2, 1 scoop of Bulk's hydration powder, which is basically some carbs, some electrolytes, and some BCAAs. And up here I have a lone caffeine tablet. I've already taken 2, so it's 400 milligrams of caffeine. 11 o'clock at night isn't a good idea, but that's where we are right now with our ideas and the quality of them. Got the coolest hat in the world, which I'm contractually obliged not to wear to the house or the office anymore. I have a head torch. The reason I wear this hat is so the head torch, this is the darkest sounding thing ever, but so the head torch doesn't shine down on the rims of my glasses, which kind of leaves a halo in my glasses, which isn't ideal. And then headphones over the top. I have 10% battery left in these headphones, so I'm pretty sure I will be running in silence not very long from now. But hopefully we'll get through it. I have 27% left on my watch, and I have 30% battery left on my phone. This is a clusterfuck of clusterfucks. The magic bag of high performance shoes. 2 police wagons just passed. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll have seen a lot of shit talk. And obviously, the dog got to this as well. That little fucker. But obviously, the shit talk most of the time is pretty harmless. And I know a lot of the time when people are shit talking each other, they don't expect, there's no expectation for people to follow through, you know. Someone will say, you're weak. And nobody expects someone to be like, no, I am stronger than you. But I have this little idiot part of my brain that I really wish I didn't have, because it makes it difficult to play Scrabble or Monopoly with your family. But I have this little part of my brain that just nags me once I say something and forces me to have to do it. And that's why we're here. That's why this is happening right now. So, back at the start of the loop now. 12.3 kilometers in. Nice and handy. At the moment I'm doing 2k and then walking 200 meters. So nice and handy. It's 28 minutes past midnight. So 8.7k to go. I'm gonna run up towards the village, a small bit here, rather than doing the same loop again. There's a massive gale wind coming from the west, so the headwind running along the estuary there isn't great. So I'm gonna run up a bit closer to the village now and then turn around, and then by the time I come back to here, hopefully I'll have 5k left. So I'm gonna run probably 1.5 kilometers or 1.8 kilometers up here, turn around and come back, and then I should have kind of 5k or so to go on the run there, and that's a grand old stretch. So everything's feeling grand. Heart rate's low, heart rate's 103 at the moment. I just stopped running. It's kind of between 110 and 125 most of the time, so all good. Headphones are band jacked, so gonna do a quick little repair job on them now and then get back at it. For the first lap I was listening to Tommy Tiernan's special Cracked, and now I'm listening to Live, so it's a special from 2002. Tells a story about his friend running a marathon who hadn't trained for it.
He's also somebody, he has no idea of his own limitations, I suppose. He thinks he can do everything. He thinks he's going to be brilliant at everything. He decided recently he was going to run in the Southampton Marathon. And it would take no dissuading whatsoever. You know, he trained for about a week.
So job done. Last session 4 minutes ago. Let's have a look. So undoubtedly the slowest half marathon you're ever going to see someone make a video about. 2 hours 42 minutes. That is absolutely atrocious. Basically, it was all grand. Ended up walking the last 5k, cramping up severely. So that's the job done. It's 10 to 2 now. So here we are now. We last left off on Monday evening, or Monday night, or early Tuesday morning. It's Friday morning now, and I'm headed to the track. So as those of you who've been watching Owen's training will probably have heard, our track where we have membership is closed, and then the other university track that's near us is closed as well. So the closest track is like a community track about an hour away. So I'm on the way there now. This is my first fast interval session that we'd have done in a while. So it's going to be interesting. I've changed my stride a small bit. With all the long distance stuff, or I've tried to change my stride to make my long distance running a bit better. So I'm just interested to see how that's going to affect it. Obviously my hip flexors and stuff like that, I've been working on that a fair bit, so it'll be interesting to see how it feels. I have my spikes and my running shoes with me, so it'll just depend and see how things go. Ideally, obviously I'd like to be wearing spikes, as that will be closer to what I hope to use on the event itself. In terms of other training this week, I trained Tuesday and Thursday morning in jiu-jitsu class, and I did one more run. So I just did a 5k on Wednesday. So it hasn't been a massive week in terms of amount of sessions I'm going to do. I'll train today on the track, I'll train tomorrow in the gym and do some squats, and then that will be a pretty good week, as in week 1 of kind of block 2 of this cycle. So for the track session here, I'm just starting off with some general warm-ups. Normal running, the big things I'm always focusing on, as I said earlier, that hip flexor, making sure my foot is tracking normally back behind me. So you'll see just some jogging here, some of those kind of lateral or sideline lunges. And then as I get into it, I'll go back and I'll do a couch stretch just for a short hold, maybe 10-15 seconds each side for around 3 times each side. The lunges here then go kind of hand in hand with those couch stretches, so it just allows me to feel that anterior hip flexor. It allows me to make sure it's not too tight or tighter on one side than the other. The track here is a small community track, so the outside lane is 250 meters. I assume the inside lane is around 200 meters or something like that. For these 200s, I'm running just under that kind of 5:20 minute mile pace. So they're nice and handy. It's nothing crazy by any means. The short distance obviously makes these a lot easier. So in between my first few reps of these, I'm doing 8 repeats in total. In between my first few reps, I'm still doing some of that dynamic stretching. Mostly the pace for the first 2, even when I'm doing those dynamic stretches in between, doesn't really alter the pace for the last 6 at all. So these are pretty much flat across the board. All I was doing is just have my phone on the ground. As I'd run past that start point again, I just check my phone again and just make sure they're nice and consistent. Now the smaller track is an interesting one here. So it is good. It's really effective. It's nice to be running on a track rather than on the tarmac again. It allows me to put on spikes, which obviously increases the speed a small bit and brings in a level of specificity for the actual mile test itself. But it definitely adds an element to it when you're basically on a turn the entire time. So you're just turning into it. It's a lot different from that normal 400 meter inside lane that you'd have on a standard track. So for the moment, I'm just going to keep going at these once a week just to get that specific practice in until a normal size track becomes available. Hopefully something will free up in the next couple of months or so. First session with the spikes on in a long time. It actually feels pretty good. That kind of proximal attachment point is the main area of fatigue for me. So where my calves are attached in just behind my knees, I'd feel it a bit more. And then that adductor, you'd feel it in as well, but no major issues.